We are learning more tonight about the soldier accused of opening fire on 5 of his fellow service members inside a Fort Stewart Brigade facility.
Military officials identifying him as a 28-year-old Sergeant Cornelius Radford with the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team. He is now in custody awaiting charges. The shooting happened at his workplace within the 2nd Brigade Combat Team area, not part of any training exercise. Officials confirm it was fellow soldiers who quickly intervened to stop him.
WSAV is bringing you team coverage from multiple locations, including Fort Stewart, the hospital where some of the victims were taken, and nearby communities where some witnessed the moments of confusion and fear. We begin with WSAV's Sarah Smith live at Fort Stewart. She is breaking down what else we've learned about the suspect.
Well, Ben and Tina, Sergeant Radford has been assigned here at Fort Stewart since 2022. We've learned he has no previous combat deployments, but that he was arrested for DUI earlier this week, something Army officials definitely wanted to make sure they noted at the press conference today. Now, military officials tell me he has been interviewed by police and is awaiting charges. Now, police didn't want to speculate what the motive was, but we know the shooting happened at Radford's place of work, him shooting 5 of his coworkers and fellow soldiers. Now, officials say he used his personal handgun and that this incident was not tied to any kind of training exercise. Commanding General John Lubis with the 3rd ID commented on security at the base moving forward.
Very confident in the security of this installation. We've got a great partnership with local law enforcement. As you can see here at our gates, we have armed guards in protective equipment. This one's a bit difficult. And we're going to have to determine how he was able to get a handgun to his place of duty.
Now, General Lubis told us there were other fellow soldiers who quickly intervened to stop Radford from harming anyone else on base. And of course, he thanked them as well as other first responders for their bravery in responding to this incident. Of course, we know those 5 soldiers are in stable condition. For now, live from Fort Stewart, I'm Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Sarah, thank you. Now we go to WSAV's Christine Quayle, who's live at Memorial Health, where ambulances brought in several of the wounded under police escort. Christine, what is the atmosphere there?
Yes, Tina. So I would say it's still very somber here. Those ambulances were brought in a couple of hours ago, and well, we know that all of the people who were injured in the shooting are in stable condition at this time. We're working to learn more. There were 3 people that needed surgery, and 2 of them were brought here, and procedures like that take several hours. We're showing you right now on screen some video from the scene earlier today when those ambulances were brought in. As you mentioned, there was a police escort, SPD, Chatham County Police Department, as well as GSP, and Chatham County Sheriff Richard Coleman actually made his way down here to speak about this because, you know, we've been telling you all day, this is something that really affects the whole community, and while it is such a somber occasion here, while we're just working to really learn about the recovery of those soldiers now that the active threat has been lifted, you know, the sheriff was saying it's all about unity at this point. And we also spoke to a surgeon who you're going to hear from telling us about the trauma response, because here at Memorial, that is the only level 1 trauma center in the area.
Never expect these things on your home front unless there's some type of war, right? And so when incidents like these happen, it sends a culture shock throughout the community. We all stand united to say, hey, these type of behaviors won't be tolerated.
We are the only trauma center between Charleston, Jacksonville, and Macon. That is a huge catchment area. And people come in from across the street, and people come in from hours away, and we have to be there for everybody.
So, of course, the U.S. military is the primary agency we're getting the information from, so we have to remember that's who we're dealing with. So all information is going to come from them. So any updates on the exact conditions of either the 2 soldiers that were brought here or any of the 3 that are being treated at Wynn Army Community Hospital, as far as we know, is going to come from them. We're going to be delivering you updates throughout the day as well as into the evening tonight as we learn more about their conditions. But as for now, we're happy to hear at this moment that they're in stable condition. I'll send it back to you for now.
Christine Quayle live at the hospital for us. Thank you. As the investigation continues, Georgia lawmakers are reacting to the shooting, expressing shock, concern, and support for the soldiers and their families. WSAV spoke to Congressman Buddy Carter, who represents the district that includes Fort Stewart.
You know, the military is a very stressful situation for a lot of people, and certainly we want to make sure that again, they have the resources and the facilities that they need in order to get the treatment that they need.
Other elected officials also weighing in. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp saying, "We are keeping the victims, their families, and all those who answer the call to serve in our hearts and prayers, and we ask that Georgians everywhere do the same." And Georgia Senator John Ossoff telling WSAV today's shooting at Fort Stewart in Georgia is a horrific act of violence, rather. Alicia and I send our prayers to those wounded, to their families, and to the entire Fort Stewart community in light of this terrible act. Local lawmakers responding as well. State Representative Edna Jackson says this is a sad day for our city, county, as well as our loved ones on the base. Please continue to pray for our soldiers.
And for those near the post at the time, it was a terrifying scene. Alarms blared, roads were blocked, and for a moment, no one knew how far the threat might reach. WSAV's Isabella Baez is live tonight with reaction from those who witnessed the confusion and panic unfold firsthand.
News of a shooting on the military post sent shockwaves into this community. Families, schools, and businesses nearby were told to stay indoors or went into a lockdown.
It's scary. It's really scary.
Mary Wrinkle and Sharon Duvall were both witnesses of the incident from different perspectives. Duvall was in a classroom at the time of the incident. She said when she woke up this morning, she didn't think she would have to tell a group of teens there was an active shooter.
I was in a classroom with some students, and they don't realize the magnitude of the situation that we were in. So I had to explain to them that we needed to be quiet. We didn't know who was outside, who the active shooter was, exactly where they were at on the base.
Now, Wrinkle is a manager whose job is right around the corner from the main gate of Fort Stewart. She describes how the lockdown looked from the outside.
First of all, when you hear the sirens, we always look out the window. Then all of a sudden you hear more sirens, and then more sirens, and then we started counting them. So then we started looking across the street and walked up to the sidewalk, and it was just chaotic.
Now, both women I spoke to said this is nothing that they would expect to happen at Fort Stewart on a military post. Reporting in Richmond Hill, I'm Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Isabella, thank you. For the very latest updates on the shooting, including the suspect's background, the condition of victims, and response from military leaders, head to WSAV.com/Fort Stewart.